You are logged on to the Computer Corner Show, now available from both our website at www.compcorner.com and on YouTube for your convenience. I'm your host, Phil Shortell, the lead instructor at Computer Corner in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And with me here today, as usual, are my co-hosts, Carol and Joe Petronovich, the owners of Computer Corner, and good day to you both.
Good day, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, if you're yearning to do kerning or don't know the difference between a kilobyte and a kibibyte, or you'd like to learn some kinky keystrokes, please listen on, and we hope to impart some new computer knowledge to you.
Since people can now listen to the Computer Corner Show from anywhere in the world, we want to tell you a little bit more about us. Computer Corner is based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, located at 3101 Menaul, a few blocks west of Carlisle. We've been in business since 1983, and Joe and I are founders and owners.
Joe is an MCSE or Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, and Carol manages the government contracts at Computer, which include those with the city of Albuquerque, the county of Bernalillo, the state of New Mexico, and Los Alamos National Laboratories.
Phil is Computer Corner's software expert, and he's been a technology instructor for over 30 years. And how long have you been at Computer Corner, Phil?
14 years and 2 months.
Wow.
But who's counting?
Who's counting?
Right.
Well, congratulations and thank you. You've done a wonderful job.
Thank
Phil
you.
gets rave reviews from all our clients for both his classroom training and his one-on-one tutoring.
Computer Corner also sells to the public as well, and I think we have one of the most impressive showrooms you'll find anywhere around here. Check out our photo gallery on our website at, again, www.compcorner.com.
One of the other things we do at Computer Corner is computer repair, and we do that in our shop, or we can come to your home or business within about a 60-mile radius of Computer Corner.
That takes in a lot of territory, actually.
It does.
Yeah. Now, on to our topic for the day, but to introduce it, I have a riddle for you.
Sure. I like riddles because I'm usually pretty good at solving them.
Okay, here you go. I have space, but no room. You can enter, but you can't get out. I have keys, but no locks. What am I?
Of course, I know this one easily because I know the topic today. But space with no room, keys with no locks. It's a keyboard, of course.
Yeah, even though we cheated a little bit because there is a caps lock key. But
Oh, that's
beside
true.
The point.
That's
Our
true.
next topic is about the keys on your keyboard. There are a number of them that have special features that I'm betting 99% of the people listening do not know about.
We're not going to talk about the keys that most people know about, like the caps lock, arrow key, space bar. But as Phil said, we're going to talk about the ones you probably don't know about.
We're also not going to talk about the ones you'll never use, like most of the F keys or function keys. We're just going to skim over here. We could spend hours talking just about keyboards and shortcuts and special keystrokes and things like that. But we don't want to spend hours here. We want to get you to some of the things you really want to do.
Sure.
Okay?
So let's start at the top left. I
Okay,
think
good
pretty
place.
much everyone knows what the escape key does. It takes you back a step in your operation or stops something
Well,
in
in
its action.
actuality, what I always use it for when I have a menu that pops up that doesn't have an X in the upper right-hand corner to
Oh.
close it, the escape key will always close that menu, or should always close that menu.
Sure.
Okay? F1 is the next key. Generic help in almost any program, including web browsers. Just hit F1 and a help menu will pop up.
And that really is available in almost any program anywhere. So that's a nice feature. F2 is kind of helpful when you want to change an icon or a file or folder if you want to rename it.
So if you're in the Windows Explorer or the File Explorer, as it is now called, you have selected a file, you hit the F2 key, and it brings up the rename ability. Okay, F3 is sometimes used to activate functions in certain programs, but we can't tell you exactly what it does because it is variable from program to program.
So that's why some of these function keys we're not going to really talk about that
Right.
much. So F4 is sometimes used to close certain applications.
Well, actually, F4 works in any Microsoft Office product to close the current window. Very handy thing like that. Also, if you get down to the desktop as your base, F4 on most computers actually turns off the computer.
I did not know that.
Most people don't.
Well, that's a new one for me, for sure. So F5 is helpful. You can use it to refresh a web page. So if you're looking for changes or your browser seems to be stuck in that, when I say if you're looking for changes, if you do your own web updates on your website and you think you've done the change and then it's not showing up, you can hit F5 and it will refresh that web page.
It will refresh lots of different things. You know, it'll tell it to refresh the view you have of your inbox. And that includes if you're in Microsoft Outlook, which is not actually connected to the web at that point. So I use that all the time to get rid of the things I've already read from the screen. And I find that comes in very handy to keep things less cluttered. F6 takes you to the address bar for most browsers.
Sure. And F7, you can use it to evoke spell check in Word, and I believe in Outlook as well. Is that true?
Yes, because Outlook actually uses Microsoft Word as its
Of course
word
it does,
processing.
yeah.
And so it was F7. Shift F7 actually opens up the thesaurus in Microsoft Word and in Microsoft Outlook. I think that's pretty cool too. Okay, F8, you can use this to start your PC in safe mode, but it might take you to the Windows recovery page.
Joe is going to want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think so.
This has been a sore spot ever since Windows 10 came out for technicians in the field and worldwide. It was so difficult to get into safe mode, to do diagnostics, to remove some programs easily and completely. And to do it properly, you really need to do it 2 or 3 times and force it and force it and force it. And finally, when it comes up to that recovery page, you'll have the option to finally start it in safe mode.
So let's talk for just a sec. This isn't necessarily about keyboards, but when would you want to boot up your computer in safe mode?
You want to boot it up in safe mode when it won't start in regular mode. You want to boot it up in safe mode if you want to get rid of drivers completely that you're not using anymore, or a card that's not in your computer that you want to delete the drivers. Because in Windows anymore, let's say you had a AMD video card in there, and you took it out before you removed the drivers. AMD will not allow you to remove those drivers unless you put that card back in. So it's a catch-22, but this way will do it for you. There are removal tools out there, but you really don't need to go get those if you just do it this way.
Okay, so as a side note, that's why you might want to reboot in safe mode. So, Phil, why don't you take F9?
F9 in Word or Outlook will update your documents to invoke the send-receive function in Outlook. Okay, so that's actually a send-receive, to force a send-receive. But we're talking now inside Microsoft Outlook.
Sure.
We're not talking necessarily inside Outlook.com, which is a
good point.
completely different story, or Gmail for that matter.
Right. So F10 opens the menu bar.
Now-
We've talked about that on a couple shows. You
And
probably
we
want
have done that
talk
before.
some
The
more.
menu bar, if you think about that in any of your programs, across the top of the screen is the menu bar, which has all the different words and stuff like that. If you hit F10, it'll show you some different options up there that you can then use keyboard shortcuts to invoke the different levels that are on that menu bar. F11. You want to do that one?
That will allow you to enter and exit the full screen mode in most of your web browsers.
Now, what does that mean, actually? It means that everything other than the address bar will disappear from the screen, and the web browser will take up the full screen. So you wouldn't be able to see little shortcuts and things like that. It gives you a little bit bigger picture. Not the greatest thing in the world now that we have such large monitors, but in the old days, it really came in handy.
Alrighty. F12. You can use the F12 key with other keys like the Control key or the Alt key to open and close documents, but these days, I think just using the Control key is easier. There's
Yeah,
a ton of
I
good
agree
features
with
in the
that.
Control key, which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Yeah, I think that the F keys are pretty much out of the way for this show right now.
Yep.
Hey, they've combined the print screen key with the system request key, so the key that says print screen sys request.
And say
If
that
it-
it's
if
the
it even-
PRTSCN.
PRTSCN. Actually, on my keyboard, it's spelled out completely.
Really?
It
Most of
really
them are
is.
PRTSCN,
Right.
SYSRQ, and it's like, what kind of language is that?
And they're used mostly to doing a screen capture or to copy exactly what you're seeing on your screen to paste into an email or a document.
Sure.
And then the next one is scroll lock. It's an old feature key mostly used in text mode environments. It's been eliminated on some keyboards. It really goes back to DOS. And you know, when if any of you out there are as old as we are, you might remember when you try to get something to print up on the screen in DOS, it just rolls off the screen. Scroll Lock will help you with that, and Scroll Lock lets you switch between using the arrow keys to scroll inside a document so that you're moving within the text, or to scroll the lines up and down on the screen.
But most people don't use that anymore.
It's pretty much gone from most computers.
Same with pause break. It's an old function key, again used in most text mode environments like DOS, and even some keyboards have totally eliminated it.
The Alt key, it's on the keyboard. There's actually two of them on the keyboard. There's one on each side. And what that is used for is specific functions within different programs. I can't tell you which ones. It is variable from program to program. You might think of it as something akin to the Shift key, where the Shift key allows you to say, well, here I want to type a capital letter or a lowercase letter. And it's the same idea. The Alt key will give a different function to another key on the keyboard. Okay, the Windows key and the Control key are my favorites.
Mine
They're, I think,
too.
all our favorites, because you can save so much time by using a combination of these keys with another key. We're going to highlight our favorites, but if you want a relatively full list of commands you can perform with the Windows and Control keys, email us at corner@compcorner.com. That's corner at compcorner.com.
Or if you want to reach us, of course, you can always Google Computer Corner in Albuquerque, and you can go to the contact page and email us that way.
Let's talk briefly about the Windows key. The Windows key is the second key from the left in the row closest to you. Most people don't even have any idea what it does. We can't take the time to go through all the functions, but I'm going to give you one or two right now. The Windows key, usually it says Start on it. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it only has the Windows logo. But the Windows key and the letter E will always bring up the File Explorer instantly. And for people like me who are in the File Explorer 5-6 times a day, it really saves a lot of time. Another one I want to talk about, and there are many, and we will send you the list if you ask for it.
Absolutely.
Another one I think is a great one is the Windows key and the letter L. What that does is instantly lock your computer. Okay, now this is a good thing to do when people are coming over.
Sorry. Wait. Bad allergies this morning. So can you back up just a sentence for me?
Roll.
Yeah, I know he was, but I was not going to be able to talk again.
Okay, where do you want me to? We did Windows and E. Is that one good?
Windows L.
Oh,
Just at Windows L.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Another Windows function that I would like to talk to you about is the Windows key with the letter L. What that does is instantly lock your computer. Lock it meaning that whoever comes over to touch it next would have to sign on, would have to know your password. This comes in very handy when the grandchildren are over. Now, I can't go through the full story here, but I'll tell you a true life story about why you want to do this when the grandchildren come over, because I once had to make a house call on a bishop and his wife, who called me in because the grandchildren had put something on the screen, the desktop, that really didn't belong in a bishop's house.
I see.
Okay, it's an interesting story, but that's it. One other one that really is good in the Windows key area is the Windows key and the letter D. What that does is no matter how many windows you have open, it takes you instantly down to the desktop. The
Shuts
Windows,
them all down.
it doesn't shut them down.
Oh.
It minimizes them all.
Very nice.
But it remembers what it has minimized, and then doing it again brings them all back up. So if I'm in the middle of doing something and Carol calls me and says, oh, I need this particular document you were working on, and that's down on my document, I don't have to go and take the mouse and minimize each individual screen. Windows D, I'm on the desktop, I find the document, I send it to Carol. Windows D, I'm right back where I was. We could go on about the Windows key for quite a while, but I think we'll save that and move on to the control keys.
So the control key is the one that says CTRL. I think most people know that, but there are a lot of people that don't know all the different things that control key can do.
Right, and we don't have time today to go through everything that the control key would do, so we'll try to talk about things that'll work pretty much anywhere in the Windows environment.
I think one of my favorites is the Control A. If you're in a document and you want to select all the data, whether it's to highlight it all or delete it all or copy it all, you hit the Control and the A key and it will highlight the entire documents, text, or, we were just getting ready for the show to record, and I was queuing up Audacity and had to delete a whole bunch of data and hit Control A and selected all of the Audacity information and deleted it.
Yeah, I think one thing that we have to mention with these multiple keystrokes, you don't have to hit them at the same time. What you do is you hold down the Windows key and then hit the other key, or you hold down the Control key and then hit A. Control A, select all. That's what it means everywhere. One of the other good ones that I think everybody would want to use is Control Home. Control Home in all Microsoft products takes you to the beginning of your container. The container is usually the entire document, but Control Home means go to the top. Another one you would want to use, the opposite of Control Home, is Control End, which, as its name implies, would take you immediately to the end of your container, which again is normally the entire document. Okay.
And that can actually, in some programs, it might not even be like Word or Excel. I know in our point of sale package, if you use those keys, you can also achieve that same effect.
Yeah. It's really a Windows function, and it's part of the standards for Windows. Not every product follows it. I could mention names, but I guess I'd better just give the initials, and that's Quicken.
Okay.
Okay.
So another favorite of mine is the Control N. So Control N actually brings up a new document of whatever, or actually if you're in a web browser, it brings up a new web browser. So instead of going all the way up to the top and clicking File, Open, or New, you can just hit Control N and a new file will open. You probably want to expand on that, Phil.
Really, it just saves you such an enormous amount of time over the course of the time you're using a computer. Anytime you want to get a brand new whole document, Control N, in any Microsoft product will give that to you. I think probably everybody knows about Control C, right? Copy.
Sure.
Selected text on a screen and copy it. Everybody knows probably about Control X, which is cut it instead of copying it.
I'm not so sure everybody knows about that.
Well, maybe not, but you see what they did when they came up with that. If you think about the X as being a pair of scissors,
Sure.
It kind of makes sense. And then Control V, which actually the V happens to be the editor's mark for insertion. If you use Control V, you can paste.
So my favorite, another one of my favorites, they're all my favorites, but I like the A, N, and I especially like Z, because that
the
allows
best
you to
one.
undo what you just did, especially when you've done something and you don't know what you did, but something's just not quite right. You can hit Control Z and it takes it away. It's
And it
magic.
takes it away. It is a magic eraser of the mistake you just made. And if you think about this Control Z, undo the last thing that I did, the last letter of the alphabet.
Oh.
There's actually also Control Y, which after you've undone something and realize you shouldn't have undone it, Control Y redoes what you've undone. And everybody probably does know about Control P, right? All these things save you enormous amounts of time and trouble if you get used to using them. The keyboards are really designed to do a lot more than most people ever try to do with them. And it's not that we're anti-mouse or anything, because all of the things we just talked about you can do with the mouse, but it's much faster if you know what the control keys are. And again, I encourage you to send us a message, and we will be happy to send you a list of the most commonly used and good and strong control keys.
All righty. Thank you. And I think that's about it for this week's show. If you're listening today, we do have the tax holiday sale going on at Computer Corner right now until 5 p.m. today. You'll get free antivirus software and a free Windows 10 class, a $79 value, with any computer purchase today until 5 p.m., and you'll save on tax.
We hope you'll join us again in 2 weeks, and we're actually not sure what our topic will be quite yet, so maybe you could write in. Carol, what do they send an email to for things?
Corner@compcorner.com.
Okay, so if you want to be updated when a new show is posted, you can subscribe to our newsletter. You can also get that list of keys for the Control Freak, which is what I have dubbed it, by doing that. And we hope that you'll think of Computer Corner for all your hardware. I'm going to start it again.
Sure.
We hope you'll join us again in 2 weeks. We're not sure what the topic will be. Maybe it'll be something you send in if you email.
We'd like that.
corner@compcorner.com. You can also request that list of keys for the control freak, as I've dubbed it, by sending an email to corner@compcorner.com. We do hope that you'll think of Computer Corner for all your hardware, software service, and training. Until we meet again, mind your bits and bytes. This is Phil,
And Carol.
And Joe.
wishing you carefree computing. The Computer Corner show is logging off.